There we go. Just so everyone who's present knows, we will be recording and posting this presentation to the chapter's YouTube channel. So you'll be able to watch it again later and also share it with other people if you know others who may benefit from the information. So, as part of the James River watershed, the Richmond area is a major source of water flowing into the Chesapeake Bay. Increasingly, localities, communities, and homeowners in the watershed that affects the bay are seeking to improve wildlife habitat, enhance quality of life, and protect the health not only of the bay itself, but of the rivers and watersheds that feed into the bay. One significant way to do this is through landscaping that works with nature, including better stormwater practices, use of buffers, and of course, planting with native plants. Beth Ginter, who is our presenter tonight, is both the executive director of the Chesapeake Conservation Landscaping Council and the director of the Chesapeake Bay Landscape Professional Certification Program. Her educational and professional background includes advanced training and experience in landscape design and sustainable landscapes, and Ms. Ginter has been instrumental in developing and administrating an expanding program that has already certified nearly 2,000 level 1 landscape professionals and nearly 200 advanced design and installation professionals. The CBLP certification program currently offers classes in the District of Columbia, Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and West Virginia. And I think you have a connection with New Jersey as well.
We do. Yeah, we sure do. Yeah.
And leads the way in developing a cadre of consistently trained landscape professionals who can design, install, and maintain conservation landscapes. These professionals help everyone from local governments to commercial developers, managed communities, and homeowners. Awareness of the work of the council and the availability of these certified professionals will become even more important in the years to come. And those of us who landscape to support wildlife can both benefit and help spread the word about their work. So the Wild Ones Greater Richmond chapter is very honored to welcome Ms. Ginter to speak with us tonight. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Sharon. I'm delighted to be here and looking forward to hearing from all of you about what your interests are. So as Sharon and Diane have said, if you do have questions, feel free to put those in the chat. We're going to reserve some time at the end for discussion. That is always my favorite part of presenting, is hearing from all of you about what you're working on and how we can support your work as well. Thank you. That was such a nice introduction. And I'll just add that I live in the DC area now. I've been here for almost 30 years, but I went to school in Richmond. I'm originally from Charlottesville and went to the University of Richmond and then to VCU and lived there for a couple of years after college. So it is very near and dear to my heart. And of course, we do a lot of training in Virginia as well. And I will share with you some contact information at the end for our co-coordinators for the CBLP program who are in Virginia, Stacy McGraw and Gabby Kinney. So as well as reaching out to me anytime after tonight, we'd love if you would connect with them as well. And I'm going to go ahead and jump into my presentation. What I'm going to do tonight is to share with you kind of a snapshot of the training programs that we offer. I'm also going to share some of the resources that are publicly available. And some of these courses, while most everything we do is designed for a professional audience, there are some things that are quite appropriate for lay professionals. And we know that some of you might be in the category, as Janet is, as sort of a hybrid professional who wears many hats and may be doing some design work in your communities. So we hope that we will see some of you at training in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into my presentation, and hopefully you guys are seeing that now. Just to start, I want to talk a little bit about our organization. So CCLC is a nonprofit We're based in Maryland, but we do work across the entire mid-Atlantic, both inside and outside of the Bay watershed. Most of what we do is Bay focused, but as Sharon said, we do have some training in New Jersey, and we always welcome people from outside of the watershed to join our trainings as well. In Virginia, we are focusing on the southwestern part of the state right now, and we do have some nice incentives for people doing conservation landscaping work in that region, some of which, of course, is outside of the Bay watershed. But our mission is really educating and supporting professionals who implement sustainable landscapes and green infrastructure practices, all with an eye towards restoring and protecting the Chesapeake Bay. So while we work with pros, we also, part of our mission is really supporting our partners in local governments, other nonprofits, academia, and trade organizations as well. I think that it's really important to acknowledge the role that homeowners and lay people, volunteers, play in restoration work. Because you're all on the front lines. And so we hope that what we're doing, both through training people that may make good partners for you, as well as providing resources for a lay audience as well. So everything that we do at CCLC is underpinned by the 8 essential elements of conservation landscaping. So this photo here is actually the cover of a very small but mighty book that we first published way back in 2008 or 9, and we're on the 3rd edition now. It was recently updated in 2003. And that book really outlines our vision for a conservation approach to landscaping. Which, as you all know, is quite different from a traditional approach to ornamental horticulture and landscaping. So these are the 8 elements listed out on this slide, and the book that I just mentioned explains what those all mean. So we spend a lot of time talking about water. A lot of our funding is driven by bay restoration efforts, but I think the origin of our organization is very much in conservation. So the use of locally appropriate native plants, using natural communities as a reference for design, making sure that we have healthy soils, that we are managing to conserve energy and reduce the use of chemical inputs. Those are all equally important, although you might not always know it if you are in our training class, because so much effort is being put now into our focus on stormwater. So this is just a kind of an overview of what we are doing through our Chesapeake Bay Landscape Professional program, which is just one of CCLC's programs. But it is by far the one that is the most visible. We have had the most impact through this training program, which we launched in the fall of 2016. And in everything that we do, we are focused on a collaborative practice model. So we're trying to get landscape professionals out of their silos, talking to one another, making sure that we have conversations about maintenance on the first day of a design project, for example. We're also really encouraging a model of landscape professionals as critical thinkers and problem solvers who are trained to understand the unique regulatory and ecology of the Bay region. So there are a lot of things to know in this field, and we can't each individually know it all. So our strategy has been to help people connect, and we're really focused on building a community of landscape professionals. I'm going to just go through this really quickly. Just suffice it to say that the program itself is driven by a consortium of partners. CCLC is one of those partners, but we're joined in that collaboration by 2 Virginia organizations, the Department of Wildlife Resources and Wetlands Watch, which is a nonprofit based in Hampton Roads, and they are focused on climate resilience. and then also Maryland Sea Grant Extension and the Penn State Extension and Ag and Environment Center. So now I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the stormwater best management practices that we focus on in our training. I know that many of you know about all of these different types of practices, but I just thought it might make sense to give you a little snapshot of those in case there are some that you might be less familiar with. So this photo is an example of a bioretention area, which is a designed, engineered practice that is built as a depression in the ground that is meant to collect, slow, cool, and treat water. So this is an infiltration practice, and it's actually surrounded also by some permeable pavement, which I will show you in the next picture. This is actually, I think, from a CBLP training, and they are pouring water on some permeable pavement to demonstrate how it actually runs right through the gaps between the pavers. In this practice, the action is all below the ground. So beneath these pavers is a fairly deep setting bed of different layers of gravel, and that serves to collect and store and clean the water before it infiltrates, or in some cases, it might run off into an adjacent area. But all of these are really reducing the amount of runoff in our landscapes. This picture is actually from Virginia Beach. This is a Virginia Beach public school. It's a high school in Virginia Beach, and it's just illustrating a rainwater harvesting system on sort of a large scale. Some of you might be familiar with a smaller scale practice like a rain barrel or even a smaller cistern for residential application. This is kind of the giant version, but you can see there that the water is collected from the rooftop into that large tank. And then there's also sort of a visual interactive component. You can see there's a this nice storage area is an overflow area, and the water collects there and runs off into this little rill underneath what is also permeable pavement here. So I love these examples of really powerful, visually impactful practices that allow participation in the landscapes. Another practice that is increasing in prevalence here in the DC area, in Washington, DC. In fact, many new buildings in DC are required to have green roofs. This happens to be a residential green roof that was quite old neighborhood in Tacoma Park, Maryland, and they put an addition on their house and chose to add a green roof to that addition to collect water, and instead of having it run off into their very tiny postage stamp of a garden. So some of the other nature-based practices that are more on the conservation side, but are also treating stormwater, but which provide terrific opportunities for habitat restoration, are things like riparian buffers, living shorelines, urban tree planting or other reforestation efforts, and meadows. I know probably many of you are familiar with meadow as conservation landscaping, and we're definitely excited to see that some municipalities and states, in fact, are prioritizing lawn conversion projects that convert either impermeable surfaces or turf grass into these rich, dynamic habitat systems that provide so much benefit for wildlife while they are slowing down and cleaning the water. Okay, so just to tell you a little bit more about the CBLP program. So who are the certified CBLPs that have been through our training? Many of them are landscape designers, landscape architects, landscape contractors, people who do maintenance, and horticulturists, botanists, nursery professionals. We have a lot of tree care professionals in the program as well, engineers, stormwater professionals, planners, and then we didn't really set out to train government staff, but they need this training too. Many local and state governments, are funding these projects, and it is very helpful for them to understand how practices should be built and managed in order to have more successful projects in the ground. And I should just say that is a real benefit to everyone. No doubt some of you may have seen urban practices that were installed in a commercial setting or perhaps in a public park, and when they are not well maintained, they do not look good, and that is not good for anyone because it creates a real negative perception among the public about these practices. So a big part of our work has been focused on maintenance and making sure that people understand that the maintenance requirements for these stormwater BMPs are quite different from traditional landscape requirements, and they require skilled practitioners to do that work and take care of them. So level 1 certification is really at the heart of everything that we do. It is our most popular class by far, and we have 2 different options for this available now. So we do have a hybrid format, which allows people not to have to travel for 2 days. So it's a 2-day class, and it's also possible for people just to do the 2 days in person. But it's a baseline credential that covers both design and installation as well as maintenance. So we teach all of those things together. And we are heavily focused on stormwater, but there is also a pretty hefty influence or emphasis on sustainable landscapes and conservation practices. So all of the focus on native plants and understanding how native plant communities can serve as a reference for the work that we do, that is all integrated into level 1 training. And then participants must pass a written exam in order to earn the credential, and then they need to continue to do continuing education in order to recertify and maintain their credential. Level 2 is our advanced training. That is kind of the next step for many people who take level 1. It's an advanced credential. It is an intensive seminar style course, and there is also a final project and an exam that goes with that. And people have the option to choose either design or installation or both. And we dig into some of those topics that you see listed on that slide. Okay, so when we first started the program, that was how we envisioned it. We envisioned that we would have a stackable credential, level 1 and level 2, and that was really all we set out to do. But pretty quickly after we launched the program, we started to get requests from partners that we were working with in other nonprofit organizations, watershed groups, and a lot of state and local government partners who were wanting to train their staff. And those people reached out to us because they needed something that was a little bit different from what we were offering with level 1 and level 2. And so we developed a series of certificate courses over the time period from starting in about 2019 up until 2024. We developed these courses, and they've been quite popular. And the goal was really to help meet these needs in the community for additional training. So CBLP crews was our answer to the question, what can we do for our maintenance crews that doesn't involve that big scary test? So we developed the crews program. It is strictly focused on maintenance. We don't cover much, if anything, about design and installation. And we're really focused on people who haven't done level 1 training. This has been really popular for local governments and some state agencies. We did a training for VDOT a couple of years ago, and there's no PowerPoint also. It's really just an outdoor class, and we do teach this in Spanish now as well. And we have a couple of cruise classes planned for the Richmond area this fall. So we're working with the James River Association, and we're going to do one in Spanish and one in English. And registration for those should be available pretty soon. And I'm happy to share the link for that, so you can keep an eye out for it if you know any professionals who might like to attend those Richmond trainings. We've done a lot of work with the James River Association as well, in the middle and upper James watershed, focused on riparian buffers. At the same time that this was around the 2019-2020 timeframe, we were working with JRA to design a buffer training course. And really the goal was to define the standard of practice. So anyone who is interested in implementing or managing riparian buffers could take this 3-part class and really hit the ground running with buffer implementation. So the goal there was to train people who are already working in this field that might be interested in getting into buffers, but also to recruit more professionals, because the bay-wide riparian buffer implementation goals are quite high. They're very aggressive, and there simply aren't enough people to do this work. And we also had the same issue with buffers that was happening with some of these more urban stormwater practices. And that is, we're going out and planting lots and lots and lots of trees, and the maintenance is not where it needs to be. So there have been very high failure rates, both in agricultural settings as well as in more urban and sort of suburban backyard type of buffers. So that is our buffer training course. And we've been teaching it now in 3 states. So it's offered in Virginia and Pennsylvania, and it's now in Maryland as well. And most recently, we added a CBLP Shorelines course, which is designed for coastal professionals who want to add living shoreline services to their business portfolio. This was developed through the Living Shoreline Collaborative in Virginia. Our Wetlands Watch partners really took the lead on developing this training. We have amazing instructors who are leading this course. And I think it's an amazing opportunity for people who are interested in working on shorelines. Maybe they work with homeowners who own property along the coastlines. As you know, there's a lot of shoreline property, and especially in the Hampton Roads area and up into areas like the Northern Neck. So I think there's tremendous opportunities for improving our shorelines in this way to protect property, and also just the wildlife habitat benefits from a living shoreline versus a hardened shoreline solution are just really, really significant. So we've been really excited about this class. We're teaching it once a year, and it's also now in Maryland. That will be, I think it's in the Northern Neck, and it's going to be in September and early part of October. We also develop sort of ad hoc, one-off advanced training workshops for people within the CBLP network who need CEUs. We have a great group of technical advisors and steering committee members who are experts in various topics and who have been very interested in helping to lead some of these trainings. So these are just a few topics that we've covered in some of those advanced training workshops, and they kind of pop up from time to time. Some of the topics have turned into certificate courses. So our riparian buffer training really grew out of a one-day workshop that we did in Pennsylvania in, I think in 2018. And same with living shorelands. Excuse me. So in addition to those 3 core certificate courses, we were asked by collaborating nonprofit based in Columbia, Maryland, if we could develop something for their staff. They run a summer youth works and green jobs program. And it's Howard EcoWorks was the partner. They were interested in doing entry-level training for their this summer program, which is primarily young adults, some like late high school age, early college age participants. And it's grown into CBLPA, which is a partner-led program. So we actually have a train the trainer program, and we work with various different organizations to bring them on board as partners. And then this program rests within other outreach that they're already doing. So we have a couple of high school partners in Virginia, Gloucester County, Portsmouth, the city of Portsmouth, and Virginia Beach all have CBLP programs. We also are doing this with workforce development organizations. We have 3 or 4 different workforce development partners in in DC and in Maryland. And last but not least, we also teach level 1 in a community college setting. So we started this with the Community College of Baltimore County in 2018, and we have 3 college partners now. We're always looking for new college partners, but essentially it allows us to stretch out what is a 2-day class in a professional setting into a 1-semester course for students in this community college. And which is great because it gives people who are new to the subject matter a lot more time to learn the material. And they take our level 1 exam as their final, and we've had a lot of success and interest with this program. So last but not least, I just wanted to say that we do offer some training for workshops for volunteers and community members who don't have a professional background. These have all come about just through our collaborations with some different nonprofit organizations and local governments who are looking for ways to reach out to their community members. So these are a couple of the workshops that we have developed. They tend to be pretty short. We do them a lot in the evenings or on Saturday mornings. And the first 2 are really kind of introductory, like what is a watershed? Why do we care about watersheds? What is a stormwater practice? The kind of sustainable landscaping in our watershed gives that big picture, sort of 30,000 foot view of the work that we're doing and how communities can be involved. And then Stormwater 101 is a little bit more of a focused workshop where we're just talking about different stormwater practices. And then we have a rain garden maintenance workshop for homeowners and also volunteers that's, I think, been very successful. We've run it in a couple of faith communities that have been implementing rain gardens and permeable pavement, putting those practices on their properties, and then they are wanting to do the maintenance themselves. So we've been training their volunteer teams on how to do that maintenance correctly, and getting them involved with learning native plants and understanding how the practices are built and what they can do to make sure that they look great and that they're functioning properly. And then last but not least, tree maintenance is something that we know there are lots of trees going in the ground over the course of the last 5 years. There have been many millions of dollars put into tree planting projects, and we are not always doing a good job of planting and maintaining our trees. As you all probably know, especially in urban settings, tree survival rates are not very high. So the idea of this workshop is really to help people who are planting trees or shepherding and stewarding trees that have already gone in the ground understand how they should be caring for their trees over time. So it's everything from not doing any mulch volcanoing to how do you water a tree, and does it need to be staked, and when can you stop watering the tree, etc. So we're excited about that one. We've had requests for this from a couple of different partners, so we're just working right now on developing the content for that tree maintenance workshop. Okay, so just a snapshot of where we are in terms of people trained and certified. These are, I think, almost accurate numbers. It does change pretty quickly, but we have had so much interest in our programs. We knew that there would be interest, but I think what we have learned is that people are really hungry for training. There is so much to learn and know, and it's very encouraging and exciting to see how many people in the world of landscape professionals are interested in moving their career or their business or their practice in this direction. And we have seen a really interesting progression. When we first started, most of our early adopters were working on the design on the design side of things. So we had a lot of landscape designers and landscape architects who were kind of lined up waiting to take the training. But now it's much more evenly distributed between landscape designers, landscape installers, and landscape maintainers. And we're even starting to see that some of the very large national companies that do commercial maintenance are popping into our trainings. So one way that this has happened is that we are actively asking our partners in local governments to prefer or require CBLP training for people that they hire, either for employment or for contracts. So we often have people showing up in our class, and we sometimes ask people, why are you here? What are you looking to learn? And one of the things that we hear a lot is, oh, I want to bid on this RFP to install bioretention practices for this community, and I need to have this certification. So that is exactly what we want to happen. Really, the driving force behind developing this certification were those partners in local and state governments who realized that they were not going to be able to meet our bay restoration watershed goals doing this work on public land alone, and they were going to need the public to be involved. So that has been really the driving force, and part of our work is not just teaching people, but helping to connect those people who have the training with people who need that skilled professional. So a couple other things I just want to mention to you. We're very excited. Every 2 years, CCLC hosts a sustainable landscaping conference called Turning a New Leaf. And we'll be in Richmond in December. So I'm super excited about this. It's the first time the conference has been in Richmond. We'll be at the Science Museum at the Dewey Gottwald Center, which is just a beautiful space. And we have a really nice program coming together. We'll have a welcome dinner the night before and field day the day after. So this is totally appropriate for your audience. I think we often have a lot of volunteers and community members attend Turning a New Leaf. So there will be some geeky science things there, but there will also be a lot of practical information. We have some great talks about educating communities and working together for a more sustainable future. So registration will open for Turning a New Leaf in September. A couple other things that you might want to know about. We always have a lot of questions about what to plant in my rain garden. So we worked with some experts from across the sort of central part of the watershed to put together our top choices for rain garden plants. And these are all species that are mostly native. Some are not native to the entire Chesapeake Bay watershed. but they are all mid-Atlantic native species. And this is a really pretty kind of flip book, if you will, that is available online and has been very popular with people taking our classes and others as well. We also have a sustainable landscape maintenance manual, which is one of the manuals we use for level 1 training. We won a few awards for this book, and we're just finishing up a new edition. So this was the 2017 edition, and we'll have our new edition available and in use this summer. It is publicly available. It was developed with funding from the DC Department of Energy and Environment, and part of their stipulation for the grant was that we make it available as a free download. So that one is always available to the public on our website. And we actually, this is the one manual that we print and give to every person who comes to our training. So our other manuals are only available online for the training, but this one everybody gets a copy of. Okay. Certified pros for projects. I mentioned that part of our work is helping to connect people who have completed level 1 requirements with people who need them. So we did develop a directory, which is on our website, and you can see the link there circled in red. And we also create these flyers, which you see there, the example of one from Maryland. These we can do for you if you have an event and you are wanting to promote certified professionals to help them connect with homeowners. That's certainly something we can do for you. And I happen to have, this is not immediately current, but it was done, I think, in January or February. So we definitely have new certified pros since then. But this is a reasonable list of certified pros who are working in Central Virginia. And you can find that either at the Dropbox link or at that QR code in my slide. And just a couple other things that I wanted to share with you as I think about how community members and organizations like the Wild Ones can support this work and help to advance it. So I know some of these things I'm preaching to the choir and you are already doing them, but one of the things that we hear from nurseries and native plant growers is when we ask, how do we get more native plants? They always say, ask. So I think it's important to just remind you that asking for what you need is really important, and people don't know that there's demand if you're not out there demanding it. So I think asking for these practices and for native plants helps to normalize it and makes this more of the norm instead of something on the edge. And just what you're doing already, modeling environmental stewardship in your own community. I cannot say this. I just think this is probably the most impactful thing that we all do. And we know that our certified pros are doing this in their work as well as in their neighborhoods. So keep up the good work there. Definitely, if you need a professional to help you with a project, please try reaching out through our network. If you have a hard time getting a hold of someone, reach out to me or to one of our Virginia coordinators and let us know what kind of project you're working on. We know many of these people and we can help you connect. If you're reaching out to them during March, April, May, June, or October, September, October, November, they're going to be really, really busy and sometimes will be slow to respond. But if you do reach out to them, be sure to tell them that you found them through us. And if you have a professional that maybe it's somebody who's doing work for you, but and they're interested in this, but they don't exactly know what to do next, send them to us. We have a lot of training opportunities. We are always offering level 1 in Richmond. We've been doing level 1 in either Charlottesville or Richmond pretty much once a year. And we also have been doing training pretty regularly in Norfolk. And then we have some other trainings that move around the state. We also always have some trainings going on in Northern Virginia. And less commonly, but hopefully more often in the future, we'll be doing training in the Shenandoah Valley and over in Lynchburg as well. Let's see what else. Attend training. Yes, please come see us. There are requirements for level 1, but we try to get everybody in that we possibly can. So you can check out our website for more information. And if you know a nonprofit or other partners, maybe it's your local municipality who might be interested in hosting a class, or maybe they have people they need to train, just let us know, reach out to our Virginia coordinators. And of course, last but not least, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we welcome your support in the form of donations as well. All right, and there's my contact information again. And also just want to plug again our 2 amazing Virginia co-coordinators, Gabby Kinney, who is right now based in Williamsburg, but she's relocating to Richmond soon. And Stacy is based down in Virginia Beach, and they kind of tag team all of our Virginia training efforts. And that is what I have for you.
All right.
So I would love to hear from everybody about their questions and thoughts.
All right. Well, we had one comment in the chat that there's a participant who'd like to share the fall James River Association cruise training information with the maintenance team and contractors in their community in Brandermill.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
Already. I have a question to open.
Yeah.
As part of your outreach, do you work with the soil and water conservation districts?
We do. Yes, we are. I'm sure you all, at least some of you probably know about VCAP, which is the Virginia Conservation Assistance Program. So we've actually trained their staff. So we did two different years, 2 different rounds of training for VCAP staff. So those people who work for the soil and water conservation districts, who are reviewing projects, who are working with homeowners on planning their BMPs to go in the ground, helping them figure out what's the most appropriate practice on their site. Those people have all been through CBLP training too. So the first round all got level 1, and then we decided they wanted to do a kind of super custom training. So the second year was a really neat custom training that we did for them in Central Virginia. So they have been great proponents of our training, and a lot of their staff also have been through various different CBLP classes. So yes, we're quite friendly with them.
Right. I wanted to, go ahead. Go ahead, Robin.
No.
Okay. I'm Janet, and I wanted to just put a plug in for this training. I'm actually educated as a landscape architect. I have my master's in landscape architecture, and it's been years since I've done that type of work. I did large scale park planning and large scale military master planning, and I recently took the level 1 class. And I just want to say, if there's anybody online, or if you know anybody that's interested, it is a super well put together, very easy to follow and organized. And I did the all in person because I felt like I was so far, removed from the classroom with this type of thing, that I wanted to be in person. And it was a wonderful experience. I was scared to death to take the test, that I wasn't going to pass it. But the materials they organize everything so well that if you just listen, follow through with everything, you will really learn a lot. And all of the different things that Beth said for the class is there for you to look at before you take the in-person class and then after. So it's one of the most organized certification processes that I've had experience with.
Thank you. That's so nice to hear. I'm glad to hear you had that experience.
So I had a couple of questions. First, can we post the Turning a New Leaf conference information on the Wild Ones website? Yeah, I'm sorry, Facebook page. Is that okay? The one for December.
Great for me. Yeah,
Okay.
we'd love that.
Okay.
And we'll be happy. I'll make sure to communicate with you all when we open registration. It's usually right around Labor Day, probably Labor Day's early this year, I think. So it'll probably be after Labor Day, sometime in the first 10 days or so of September. Yeah, we'd love to have you all there.
Can we audit these courses? Like, if I'm not interested in certification, but I want to come to one thing or another, is that workable, doable, or?
Kind of, yeah. We don't really offer an audit option, but we have plenty of people who have taken level 1 training and just never take the test. A lot of our local government people don't ever take the test. They just want the training. And we used to get all in a twist about that and worried about it. And now we're just happy to have people get what they need out of the training. So you're welcome to do that. I think for the most part, level 1 and level 2 are the only things where we ask you to check boxes before you're able to register. So for level 1, you need to either have like landscape, some kind of landscape or landscape adjacent experience, work experience, or you need to have a professional credential, like pesticide applicators or LEED or ASLA sites or something of that nature, or you need to have a degree in some kind of landscape or science or engineering or something like that. And we are very, like, if you have a biology degree from 35 years ago, that will do. So and then in order to do level 2, you have to have your level 1 first. So that's about it. Most of the other classes, there's no big test, and we don't really ask who you are. We always say who the class is appropriate for, but we're not requiring that you have professional credentials to take most of our classes.
Okay. Are any of the level 1 or level 2 classes taught in Spanish?
Not yet, but we do have the level 1. We are starting to have materials available for level 1. We do have the exam available in Spanish for level 1. So we've had a number of people who are able to hang with the in-person instruction, but the written test is difficult for them. So we've started there. Level 1 has a lot of parts, and many of the manuals are not owned by us. So it is a long process and probably expensive to convert the whole program into Spanish. So what we're trying to do is work with people to provide some translation materials to help them get through the exam.
And what is the cost for like the cruise program?
Yeah. So cruise is the cost ranges from, I think it's 170 to 200 for the 1-day training and the certificate. And that is, I think that the JRA trainings are all going to be paid by JRA. So I think the 2 back-to-back trainings in late September, the cost will be covered by the James River Association. It's possible. Sometimes we have partners will pay a large chunk, and then we ask participants to pay a nominal, like $25 or something. And the pricing for cruise is scaled. So if you're sending a lot of people, you pay less. And if you're just sending 1 or 2, then you're paying $200.
Okay.
Interesting.
And let's see, last one, for lack of less political terms, have the impact of the Doge cuts impacted you all at all?
Such a good question. Yeah, well, yes, it's definitely impacted me. I live in the DC suburbs, and So I work with so many people who are employed by the federal government, many of whom work for NOAA, Maryland Sea Grant, EPA. We are losing people left and right who are integral to our work in the Bay restoration world. We have been extremely fortunate in that we are much less reliant on grant funds than some nonprofits. Many of the grant federal dollars, we have some federal grants of our own right now. They are all okay. We had 2 that were frozen, and we had no idea what would happen, but then they were unfrozen. And we are doing some work with the James River Association on buffers. This is our 5th year, I think, of working with them. And they have some federal funding, which was frozen and now is unfrozen. So we are back to work. It is for sure a crazy time. And many organizations are much more reliant on federal funds. We have this amazing program, which is a really robust revenue stream for us, and makes, there are nonprofits like us, but we're kind of few and far between. So our founding mothers' vision for this program was that it would be financially self-sustaining. We're not quite there yet, but we are constantly working towards that goal to get the program to a place where it can really support itself.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I got all my questions.
Does anyone else have a question before I ask another one?
Oh, I did put the link in the chat for our cruise class. So that's just the main landing page. And from that page, you can click on a registration link that will take you over to registration. And that is where the Richmond classes will get posted when they're available. There's a slight chance that they'll end up on their own page, but I think I can just email you. Sharon, should I just email you when they open? And that way you could maybe just pass it along to people.
That'd be great. If you send it to the Wild Ones email,
okay.
All of the members of our board can see that. So
good. Okay.
We will all see it. But that actually relates to my follow-up question, which was, if people have like if you're living in an HOA and you want to recommend to your HOA that they send their crews to this training, who would they contact to try to put them together with you?
Yeah,
Go
so
through the
I would probably reach out to Gabby, or if they're in the Richmond area, but either Gabby or Stacy or even both of them. So I can just put their info again. We have pretty easy emails, but I would reach out to Gabby or Stacy first, probably is your best bet. I'm happy to talk to them too, but your local people are probably the best.
Wonderful. And as a follow-up to this program, we will post the recording to our YouTube channel. But with your permission, if it's okay, what I'd like to do is write up a sheet of a few talking points and perhaps include that QR code or an updated link, if better, for the folks in the Richmond area, that we can post on the topics page of our website, so that when people go and look at it, they can access the information directly from there.
That's great. That's great. I can also just send you that PDF of the certified pros list.
That'd be great.
If that's better. There's one other thing that might be helpful, which is just a chart of all the various classes. And I'll send that along to you as well, so you can decide what's most useful to post there. But
what I might do is write up a draft of the page, send it to you, and you can tweak it if anything needs tweaking. Great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we are right at 7:55, so we do have a couple more minutes if anyone has any additional questions. Otherwise, I want to thank you for a very wonderful presentation, and I appreciate your coming this evening.
Thank you so much. It was great to meet you all.